Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Sound 365. My name is Garden Sound and this is the show where we write music every day for a year. Today is Wednesday, January the 26th, 2017. I didn't have a very easy time sleeping last night. I couldn't get Starboy out of my head. It was just stuck up there and I couldn't get it out. On that note, if you haven't seen the Starboy cover recomposed that I did yesterday, please go check that out. I'm going to put a link to that at the very end of the video for yesterday's video, of course. Don't forget that tomorrow is fan submitted coffee time. If you haven't done so already, please go to this pinned post right here on my Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/gardensound. Make sure that you put your least favorite song of 2016 in that thread so that I can go over them tomorrow. So today we're going to talk about what is and is not art. What is and is not something X, Y, or Z, and what role, what is and is not art, and what role genres play in defining art and music. And this is going to be kind of a side note to a conversation, a video that I saw yesterday that I want to show you all today. So this might be a little too meta, but we're basically going to do a video on a video about a video. Okay, so this is Team Backpack. They're a great channel. If you've never checked them out, you definitely should. They do a lot of like meta videos about, you know, what is hip hop. And if you're into hip hop at all, if you're a hip hop head, you need to be subscribed to these guys. Today we're going to be looking at their mic check series, which is basically just kind of checking artists on what they're saying and more or less damage or rumor control. Drama alert. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about today. So the guy you're seeing on screen right here, his name is B-DOE. You need to know who this is. This is a really, really amazing lyricist, hip-hop producer, MC. But he kind of does this thing where he calls out like fake MCs, like you know, Designer, Lil Yachty, guys that aren't necessarily traditional hip-hop artists. It's important to know who this is because he has credential, like he's an authority.
One of the elements of hip-hop is MCing. That's what we're focusing on today. The rush and the feeling you get before you spit your hottest 16 in a cypher can't be compared to. Being on stage and people reacting to a punchline or a difficult multi-syllable rhyme that took you hours to think of makes you proud. Or rapping about a topic that has nothing to do with money and drugs shows your versatility. Yet there are artists like Lil Yachty and many others that wants to take that away from you. This is a hip-hop issue that needs to be addressed.
Like, I feel like, honestly, people need to just suck it up and understand that rap ain't the same no more. I don't have to spit a cold 16 no more. That bro. If I want to make some turn, bro, if I want to say, yeah, the whole track, and it turned up people because the beat turned, then it. I'm making a song called Yeah.
If you have no intentions to be the best at what you do, don't claim the title hip-hop artist.
So this is where I want to stop, because this is where the point is going to be made. So basically what we have here, and I'll paraphrase the rest of the video because I've watched the whole thing several times. Basically, B-DOE has a problem with Lil Yachty calling himself a hip-hop artist because he doesn't do things that are integral to the definition of hip-hop artist. Here's where we agree. Defining hip-hop artist, defining MC, I would 100% agree with B-DOE. Lil Yachty is not a hip-hop artist. What I want to talk about here is twofold. One, does genre define your art, right? And in this case, what we've got is a little bit of cognitive dissonance. Does hip-hop define Lil Yachty's art? What Lil Yachty does might not necessarily be art. I think that's a bit too far. That's a stretch. Art is such a broad category of things, you know what I'm saying, that it's just impossible to say, no, that's not art. You know what I'm saying? They go on to accuse Lil Yachty of saying, of hiding behind the word art to defend his brand of music, and I would have to agree with that. I don't think you can say that Lil Yachty is a hip-hop artist. I don't think you can call him a hip-hop artist. But this raises an interesting point. This isn't a disagreement. There's not a single thing that I disagree with in this video. But this does raise an interesting question. And I want to backtrack for a second so you can listen to what Yachty said again in this interview. Listen closely.
This is a hip-hop issue that needs to be addressed.
Like, I feel like, honestly, people need to just suck it up and understand that rap ain't the same no more. I don't have to spit a cold 16 no more. That shit, bro. If I want to make some turn, bro, if I want to say, yeah, the whole track, and it turned up people because the beat turned, then it. I'm making a song called Yeah.
I got no problem with that either. So I'm in this weird crossroads right now. I'm listening to Yachty saying if he wants to make a song called Yeah and just say yeah the entire song, and if the beat's hot and if people enjoy it, then screw it, he's gonna do it. And I get where he's coming from, because as you know, as an artist who trying to make a living, I understand that if my fans want a particular thing, whether or not it is the definition of artistic integrity, if it's gonna pay the bills, at the end of the day, I'm gonna do it. And I think that's what he's trying to say. I think what he's trying to do is get money. That isn't, in essence, that isn't hip hop, right? Hip hop's not about getting money. It's about poetry and the fusion of words and music. And there's a history of sampling, and there's all these things that are being ignored by these mumble rappers, as the video claims. And I think that's what B-DOE is trying to say here, is that they're ignoring the where they came from and focusing on the money. And then just from right there, without even listening to the music, without even listening to the lyrical content, you can stop right there and say, no, it's not hip hop. So is it hip hop? No. But does Yachty have a point? Is an artist necessarily responsible for what their fan base wants to hear? Because I think that's what Yachty's saying. He's saying, am I going to be held accountable? Should I be held accountable for the fact that a hot beat and me saying yeah on a track gets plays? No. Popularity isn't something that you can control. Like, I can't control whether or not this video right here, if this video just goes crazy viral for no reason, if that happens, is that my fault? No, not at all. I had nothing to do with that. All I did was make a video. That's it. I can't control whether or not people click. I think that's what Yachty's trying to say. He's saying, fuck it. If that's going to get me clicks, I'll do it. Because he's in it for the money, which isn't hip hop. So there's 2 points being made here, and both are correct. And I get what he's saying here. In essence, I find the same criticisms about newer artists who call themselves dubstep artists, where I'm thinking to myself, where does dubstep come from? Well, it comes from rhythm, and it comes from the UK, and it was birthed by Scream and Banga, and all these things. Where I've got this history of what dubstep is in my head, but when I see some newer kids coming into the scene, and they say, oh, this is dubstep, and it's some like really sugary synth poppy kind of thing with maybe 1 or 2 wobbles in it, and I'm going, no, that's not dubstep. Where it's like, no, you're not a dubstep artist. You're something different. And I think that's what B-DOE is trying to say here. Is Yachty a hip hop artist? No. So don't call yourself a hip hop artist if you're not, right? It's obvious that you're not a hip hop artist. Quit calling yourself that. It's not really that your music is bad. Sure, it might not be my taste, it might not be B-DOE's taste. It's not bad music, but it is bad hip hop. Does that make sense? And let me play a little bit later in the video here for you. This is the rapper Cassidy from a different interview.
You don't really understand what he's saying.
To the artists that say that they don't focus on bars or lyrics, I feel as though they should be able to do music, but it shouldn't be considered rap or hip hop. It should have its own category where the dudes that do that can compete with each other. But that type of music shouldn't be in the category with a dude like me that do the type of music I do, because there's no comparison. It's like trying to compare hard rock with reggae music.
Boom. Exactly. It's trying to lump 2 totally different sounds into the same genre. A, that isn't fair to everybody who is doing the definition of that genre, and B, it doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to categorize something, you're gonna wanna categorize it in a way that makes it distinct. There's no point in having a genre that's too broad, because once it gets to the point where it's too broad, it becomes aqueous, and then it isn't a definable thing. Totally agree with this. You either are hip hop or you're not, and that's fine. But don't call yourself hip hop if you're not hip hop. Don't call yourself dubstep if you're not dubstep. Don't call yourself drum and bass if you're at 100 BPM. You know what I'm saying? Like, figure out what you are and either call yourself that or define a new genre, which is perfectly fine. That's all I'm saying. Is an artist responsible for their popularity in your opinion? I'd love to know what you think about this. Let me know in the comments section down below. All that being said, I'm gonna go make a fat beat now. Thank y'all so much for everybody who's been supporting me on Patreon lately. It's really helping me out. Like I said, this is my only job. This is how I support myself. If you like what I do, please share this video with your friends. If you wanna see the beat that I made today, click right here. If you wanna see yesterday's video, where I did the Weeknd song Starboy with the guitar and all the recomposition and stuff, click here. If you would like to subscribe to me, click or tap here. If you want to support me on Patreon, please click here. But as always, my name is GARDNSOUND. I'll see y'all tomorrow.